you have an obsessive love with mushrooms, ketchup on eggs. When did this happen and why do you love them so much? Hello everyone, welcome to the 13th episode of Slurp Up, the show with good drinks and even better questions. Today we are joined by Ms. Jordan, a science teacher at PSAA, the vice principal and the sponsor of Slurp Up, and she's also a true lover of ketchup on eggs and mushrooms. Ms. Jordan, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so the first question is, what is the drink and what makes it your favorite?
So actually I have a lot of favorite drinks, but I decided, Slurp Up is sponsoring this one. I'm going to go for it. And so I have chosen a Thai iced tea. And so it's best if you mix it because this is like a cream and then this is the tea down here.
Then you'd only taste it. I've had it once, but I honestly don't remember how it tasted. It was kind of a while ago.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, this is something new for you then.
Yeah.
As well. And it's also... at least I ordered it this way at 75% reduction in sweetness.
Like
so then
75%
hopefully it's
sweet?
not as sweet. Yeah. Because sometimes they can be a little over the top.
Yeah. Usually I get like 50%.
Yeah. Sometimes I've gotten 52, but I thought, well, this time we'll try what the version of 75 is.
I really like Thai food, so maybe I'll probably like this, I think.
Thai food is another one of my favorite things too. So you can't go wrong. I think 50 would have been better. It is pretty sweet.
Really? It's not that sweet, actually.
Really?
It's like, kind of tastes like rice, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like made of something like that.
Actually,
It probably is, honestly.
It's just
It's pretty good, though.
Mixed with milk and that's
Yeah,
all
it kind of tastes like rice, I don't know why.
It could have, I guess, rice in it. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, my first official question for you is, what made you decide to become a teacher, and was there something else you wanted to do maybe before that?
We just have boba, so I had to chew first. But actually, I went to college intending to be a vet, a doctor of animals.
I used to want to be a vet when I was younger.
I think it's a kind of a childhood thing. You love animals, so therefore you kind of just, want to help them out. But it's super competitive, actually, to get into vet school. It's actually harder to get into vet school than it is to get into medical school. And so I kind of gave that up when I was like, well, I spent a little bit too much time in college not really focusing on what I needed to do. And it really wasn't until my end of my senior year, I was just about to graduate from college.
So you wanted to be a vet all those years?
I wanted to be a vet all those years, and I hadn't really, when reality kind of started to set in, and I was like, it's just not my direction that I want to go anymore. I didn't know what I was going to do, which is kind of scary when you're at the end of your college career.
Oh, was
really
your
not
college?
Knowing. Yeah.
College senior year?
Senior year of my college, yeah. Usually you kind of try to figure that out your first couple of years, especially if you go in not really knowing, or maybe you've changed your mind. But no, I decided to wait until my senior year. And it was just a few months, actually, before I was going to graduate. And a biology professor came up to me, who's still teaching there, Dr. Jim Nessler. And he said, hey, are you interested in becoming our lab TA at Rosario? We have this general biology intensive summer course that we do, and we need another lab TA. We usually have graduate students do it, but we don't have enough graduate students. So would you mind doing it? And I'm like, sure. And that was literally my interview. That was the shortest interview I've ever had in my
He probably
entire
just
life.
saw the potential and everything.
Yeah,
he knew you could do it.
Yeah, that's right. And so I was able to spend another summer at Rosario after I graduated technically from Walla Walla University, college at the time. And I went up there and I had my own classroom. I got to set it up, and I felt like I really owned the space. And so every afternoon, students would come in and they would do a lab, and then I would have to grade their lab reports and give it to them next day, because Monday through Friday, that was their schedule. So it's really intense, but it's a lot of fun. I actually had a great group of students that year, and they gave us a picture afterwards. They gave it to all their teachers that year of them on a beach cabin. They did a little setup. They're one of them's on the roof in a canoe, and they took a picture and they gave it to all of us as a gift. And so I still have that picture today because it's just my reminder. And that was the reason why I said, you know what? I bet I could go back to college and do this and just get my
Did you go
teaching
a lot more
certification.
years after, or was it?
Actually, that's what I checked into. Because I was like, how long is this going to take me? Because, you know, I just got done. I could apply to graduate schools and go to, you know, do a graduate degree or whatever in biology, but it only took less than a year, actually, including getting my student teaching done, which is a whole semester you have to do for student teaching, or quarter at Walla Walla. And so since it just took a year, I was like, well, I can do that. So I did. I went back and got my teaching certificate.
Did you go here like right away to
No,
PSA?
no. I actually I interviewed, because Walla Walla, for anybody who's an education major, they have interviews. And so I went and interviewed, and you know, a lot of schools around here just didn't have any positions opening, and PSAA didn't exist at the time. So, or did, but they weren't looking for a science teacher. And so I ended up going to a job down in California. I interviewed at a couple of different places, a school in Ohio, a school in Maryland, but there was a school in California that opened up. So that actually was my first teaching job.
So it's like a long process, and like it was kind of like a long, but there was like a lot to it.
Yeah,
so
there is.
Based off like that, and then when you actually became a teacher, do you have like a favorite memory or anything from the process? And
I think just the whole idea of, I think the whole reason why I enjoyed my time at first at doing the general biology lab was just the interaction of the students. That's what I liked the most. It was just fun. In fact, I think I was pretty fun, because at semester time, they get to change their lab TAs, and I actually got more of the students in my group than the other lab TA did. So
they
felt pretty
preferred
good.
you?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So, you know, that was like, hey, I'm doing something good here.
Yeah.
So I should pursue this. And so and that is actually for my first love. It's just the interaction with the kids and just seeing
like how interactive they are.
Yeah,
and
exactly. The challenges that it brings, because every day, even though the schedule's the same, the questions that are asked or the problems that are for that day, that makes it a little bit more interesting, because it is kind of a routine. You know, you have your schedule, you know, you have your classes when they are, but this just makes it a little bit different. Yeah.
So there's a lot of science in your life, biology, you know, everything. What are some of your hobbies, like outside of school or outside of science?
Yeah. I enjoy camping, so I enjoy the outdoors, I guess, which is still science related. And I love doing things with animals. I still enjoy, I enjoy having fun games with Aspen. We play games like that. We go for walks, just having training with him and doing things like that. I like watching movies as well.
Yeah, me
it's
too.
always good.
Do you have a favorite, anything?
Man, yeah, actually I do. This is my standard answer, is Saving Private Ryan.
I've never
seen it.
What is it about?
It's kind of gory though, and it's tough to watch. But it's one of those movies, because it's historical. I also like those kind of movies too. But it's very emotional. I think that's what I liked a lot about it. It starts off really sad, but then there's some joyous moments, no matter what's happening, and then there's a happy ending. So that's nice too.
Yeah, I really like a good movie that you could cry to. Sometimes it's nice.
Yeah.
You actually mentioned Aspen earlier, so I wanted to ask this. We all know you have Aspen and egg roll.
Yes.
Do you have like a preference? Like, who do you prefer, or do you love them both? Like people say.
I love them both. I do love
the
them
same.
Both. Yes, the same. I will admit there have been animals in the past where I've had a greater love for one than the other. But just because I think, just like people, you just kind of just connect with them a little bit more, and so I just felt like I kind of understood that pet more than the other one when I had them at the same time. But I still love them both, of course. I want to take care of them. So this is egg roll.
I think I have at least like 100 photos of him in my camera roll. I think everyone does, honestly.
I think they do too.
Yeah.
You guys have some really good pictures of egg roll. Yep, so that's egg roll. I'm going to put him down now, though. Okay. Hopefully he won't go into my office and chew cords, or chew these cords. We're okay there.
He eats my homework. What is one thing on your bucket list that you really want to accomplish in the next year?
Ooh.
I know some people don't really have like bucket lists.
I am one of those people that don't have a bucket list. I think the main thing that I want to prepare myself for is retirement. So I actually try to plan what I want to do for my retirement, because I think the more especially if you don't have a job that you go to or something that you do every day,
Mm-hmm.
you can just be like, oh, I'll just like sit at home and do nothing. And I think
more
when you
free
do
time?
that, yeah, well, yeah, but I also think as a person that ages you even faster because you're not doing anything. So I want to make sure that I am planning on like, where do I want to maybe live? Do I want to live in the same place? No. Do I want to, so I'm, I want to research those. I want to do some, different hobbies. I want to, just do things like that where I can just, enjoy the time that I have, my free time. Exactly.
Do you have like a plan where you want to move? Or would you stay here?
No, I would probably want to move to some place where there's a beach. And it doesn't have to be a tropical place. Like, I'm not thinking Hawaii, but
Yeah.
I'm also thinking I have to live within my means. So Hawaii may not be actually possible. But I definitely want to live near the beach because that's my favorite.
Maybe somewhere in
place to be.
California?
Maybe.
Do you like California?
Oh, yeah. I still love California. It's a great place. I spent 15 years there and I loved
15
it.
years?
Yeah, I was there 15 years before I came here. So,
Like,
yeah.
which part of California was it?
In the center of California, so not near the beach, not near the coast, but thankfully you could get there within a couple of hours.
Yeah. I feel like they're always like a couple hour drives.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
in California, it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. We were close to Yosemite is where I spent my time. In Fresno, California is where the school I was at. And I still have good friends there, too. So
Yeah,
it's
so
nice
if
to
you
see them.
go, they'll be there.
Yeah,
Or do they
exactly.
still live there, right?
Yeah, they still
That's
live
good.
there. Yeah. I had a friend come visit me actually from California for spring break, so that was fun.
So I mentioned back in the intro how you have an obsessive love with mushrooms, ketchup on eggs. When did this happen and why do you love them so much? Why do you hate them so much?
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, I don't have an obsessive love of mushrooms. They are one of the grossest things on this planet.
I like mushrooms.
I know
They're
they have
good.
a role biologically. They do have a place, for them to decompose and do all the things that they need to do to help keep things going. But they're just gross to me. They look gross. Their texture is gross. They just no good things about them.
You don't like any type of mushrooms
No,
at all?
No, none. And I have tried. So it's not like I am saying this and I've never had a mushroom in my life. I have tried many mushrooms, many different types. Some I was forced to eat. Others were just like, hey, my mind has changed, but I have never liked mushrooms since I was a child.
There's this like, it's like Russians make this type of, like the mushrooms in like this type of like Russian style. I feel like those are pretty good, but they're kind of like slimy, so I don't know if you would like them. But those are really good to me.
I'm sure they are. I don't disregard.
Those are probably the only mushrooms I like, because I don't really like mushrooms like that either.
Like you wouldn't, if there's other ways, like if it's on pizza or something or in a salad,
I don't really
just like no.
them. Actually, on pizza, they're fine.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Even on pizza, they're terrible. Absolutely. The portobello, I think, are the worst, though.
The
just because they're so
portobello?
huge. Portobello
I don't really know
mushrooms.
what they're called. I just
They're like the ones that have the really big cap, and they usually, they're like this big, and they're like a dark brown. Oh, those are the worst. Yeah. Just so don't try those. For sure.
I won't try.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll try any others except those.
But it is interesting. A lot of people will say, "Oh, you don't like that? Well, have you ever tried?" And I'm always like, "No, that's not going to change my mind."
So my last question for you is, I remember last year when the Air Store movie came out, you came up to me. It was like one time after school, and you said we should watch it in your room one time.
Yeah,
so I'm assuming you like Taylor Swift, but I was wondering, do you only like her songs or who she is as a person? Because there's a bunch of like mixed opinions about her, and I don't know if you agree with her or do you just listen to her songs? Or
I pretty much just listen to her songs. I mean, I have to admit, I have criticized her before, like, okay, like some of your lyrics and like what you're writing about, like, boo-hoo. But at the same time, what I do like really respect her for is she does have good songs and she appeals to a lot of different people and she's very popular. And that's amazing to connect to that many people. And because, she has gotten, I think, more popular, the ability that she has to, whatever she's going through, a lot of
like
people
put it
relate
out in
to
the songs.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and
like
what she's put out in the songs. So I think, that's pretty amazing when you can connect with that many different people on so many different levels, from so many different, varieties and walks of life. That has to be respected. And the fact that she put out a whole new album at the same time she was doing Eras Tour, I was like, dang, that's amazing. So.
And the Eras Tour was like more than a year long.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy.
Yeah. So, and she donates money, which is great,
Yeah.
you know, so she has a good heart. So I have to say, my opinion of her has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't consider myself a Swiftie, though.
No,
I'm
yeah.
not to that point.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate her music, and it's fun to listen to. And yeah.
Do you remember any specific lyrics that you didn't really like?
Actually, to tell you the truth, I'm not really a lyric listening person. If
You said earlier there were some lyrics you didn't like, or
No,
would you...
just some of the things that she wrote about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, you know, it felt like a lot of her, or especially her earlier songs were, I know what she was going through, obviously, but it was a lot of like her boyfriends and breaking up and all that kind of stuff.
I think that's the only thing people see her as.
Yeah,
like, that's all she does.
exactly.
But it's like not. It's really not. There's a lot of songs that don't revolve that issue, but there are a lot that do.
Yeah.
But there's just the ones that aren't really like, no one really cares about them.
Yeah,
So they don't really see it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I've seen that she writes more than that now.
Yeah.
And so I think that's also what's helped me change my mind about her. But yeah, like I said, wouldn't consider myself a Swiftie, but still it's pretty amazing what she's done.
Did you ever end up watching the Aerostar movie?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Like
so
by
if you
yourself?
want to watch it sometime, we can watch it again.
We should.
Yeah,
Me
should.
and Maria, actually, it was like we were at my house. We started watching it. We watched it for 5 minutes. We were bored. Only because it's just the concert. So it's not, I don't really like want to just watch a concert on the TV, basically, but yeah.
I felt like I had kind of missed out. I was actually driving through Seattle when she was having her concert. And so when I got home, I was coming back from a camping trip. And so when I got home, people were putting on a TikTok to live. And so I was kind of watching.
You were watching it as you were driving?
I was watching
that's funny.
And so it was kind of fun to watch it that way. So I think when it came out and I was able to watch it, I was like, yeah, now I kind of
Now you really see more, like, you have the better
thing.
quality and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
That's understandable.
Yeah, and definitely seats on more than I could afford. So that was also really awesome to be able to be like right there, you know, versus like I would be in the nosebleed section, you know, seeing her on the screen, and maybe the screen would still be like this big. But yeah, so that was neat.
That was the last question I had prepared for you. Thank you for watching this episode of Slurp Up, and thank you to Ms. Jordan for coming on the show, and stay tuned for the next interview.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, I thought you guys were going to ask me questions, like I had to answer something. Dodged the bullet on that one. He's not a bad bunny, but he is a fat bunny.